So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I want to talk a little bit about a build that I've been using on Broberon. Now this build was designed to be supportive but also fairly chill, so it's not as demanding as the overprotective Trinity setup that I did a couple months ago. It also works fairly differently. The Trinity setup was designed to counter high burst damage but required you to be close to your party at all times. This build, on the other hand, doesn't deal very well with high burst damage, but it's amazing versus chip damage. So unless your teammates are dumb enough to straight up face tank Corpus Techs or Hayaka Masters or stuff like that, they're gonna be pretty much immortal up to sort of level 50. And I can already hear some meta twat typing a comment like, well, I would like to let you know that I only do 78.5-hour survivals. Yes, that is 78.5 hours, something you will never do because you're a pleb, so this build isn't going to cut it for me and therefore it is shite. And I'm very sorry I'm not appealing to your godly desires, but this build was designed for mere mortals, so it covers 95% of the game, which for me is good enough. What a great start to a video. I've triggered the meta people and also the people that think it's okay for others to insult me, but it's not okay for me to insult them. Now the build is somewhat expensive. It requires 3 Forma, and what you want to do with it is add 2 Ds and a dash. Now even though it may look like you only need 2 Forma, if you swap steel charge for rifle amp or shotgun amp, so if you don't want to go with a melee weapon, you will need 3 Forma to fit everything on. So the aura is up to you. If you want to run around with a rifle, use rifle amp. If you want to use a shotgun, use shotgun amp. And if you want to use a melee weapon, something like the Akem Brand, use steel charge instead. As far as the mods are concerned, I'm using vitality and steel fiber for extra health and armor, and this actually makes you pretty tanky. It gives you 925 health and 315 armor, which is of course going to be increased with Iron Renewal as well. Then I'm using Rage, which works fantastically with Iron Renewal because you will always generate more energy with Rage by taking damage than it takes to heal that damage through renewal, so you basically have infinite energy if you have Rage. And to store all of that energy, I'm using Primed Flow. Then to reduce the energy drain on renewal, I'm using Primed Continuity because power duration does affect the energy drain of the ability. And this is pretty important because I'm using a fully ranked Fleeting Expertise and Streamline for power efficiency. And if I didn't use Primed Continuity, my power duration would go too low and the drain on renewal would be fairly high. And the reason I'm using a fully ranked Fleeting Expertise and also Streamline is because I'm using Blind Rage that's 2 ranks from the top to cut down on the negative efficiency, and I've combined it with Power Drift for power strength. Now if you activate renewal with this setup, you and all your allies are going to be regenerating 78 health every second, which is pretty good. And if you throw down Hallowed Ground first and you actually shepherd people to stand on Hallowed Ground before you activate renewal, they get 392 armor, which is more than enough armor to deflect the majority of damage coming at you up to sort of level 50 or 60. Now there are 2 ways in which you can use this build. The first one, and the much safer one, is where you just pick up a random weapon and you support the team by healing them and granting them bonus armor. And this is a very passive way of playing this build because you're just running around with renewal, you're healing people, you're giving them bonus armor, and every now and then you can throw down additional hallowed grounds for more crowd control and damage, or debuff the enemies with either Reckoning or Smite. The second and far more dangerous way of playing this is with an Akem Brand that's using electromagnetic shielding and Guardian Derision. And this is kind of similar to the overprotective Trinity setup. You're running around, you try to stay close to everyone so you take 50% of the damage they take, and you're also taunting all the enemies. This is great for Kuva siphons. You can take this into Kuva floods, but be prepared to take a lot of damage and go down every now and then. Especially if you're shielding your teammates and you all get hit by either a Hayaka Master or a Scourge. However, the damage you're gonna take is kind of up to you, because if you're blocking and kiting the enemies and your teammates are crowd controlling them every now and then, you're actually not gonna take too much, but it's definitely not as effective as the overprotective Trinity setup or even Nyx with Assimilate. And that's pretty much it for the build. So as I've said already, it's not the strongest build in the world, but it's easily going to take you through the entire star chart. You can do Void, you can do Fissures, you can do Kuva siphons, and if you want to, you can delve into sorties as well. So I thank you very much for watching as always, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.